Greetings and welcome to the Transform Podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Anastasio. Today is Friday, October 7th, 2022, and this is episode 93. So we are counting down only 7 episodes away from our big 100th episode that we'll be getting to you guys probably in the November-ish timeframe, somewhere in November. But exciting episode for you guys today because it's kind of in the breaking news category, last 24 hours kind of thing. So new that haven't really tried it out very much in terms of the tactic and the new development that I want to talk to you guys about today. But before we do that, wanted to put in a plug for yesterday's episode, published episode 92 yesterday, and that episode was really kind of a little different than what we usually do. It was more at the macro kind of almost philosophical level, in part because I was talking about some of the economic issues that the United States is dealing with and what that might mean for your business, for your small business, and that sort of thing. But then sort of marry that up to some of the wisdom that I've taken in from Gary Vee about sales versus marketing and the difference between the two and that sort of thing. So I definitely encourage you guys to check that out because I think if you are operating a small or bigger than small or medium-sized business, let's put it this way: if you're not a juggernaut-sized business, you could benefit from hearing what I was talking about in terms of marketing and selling and the difference between the two, and how each one fares during very difficult economic times. They still are different in good economic times, but in bad ones, I think you're going to really see a sharp contrast between those two functionalities from an effectiveness standpoint. So really think that's the kind of episode might get people talking a little bit, might get some comments in from the audience. So we'd really be excited for you guys to listen to that one, send us feedback, send us questions, let us know what you think about that. So today, guys, for episode 93, some big news actually out of Twitter yesterday. And I'm actually going to be borrowing heavily from an article that I was kind of perusing here on Search Engine Journal, searchenginejournal.com, with the headline, quote, Twitter update sets goal to be, quote, best place to share media, unquote. And what this is referring to, guys, is the fact that on the 6th, yesterday, Twitter announced an update that allows users to upload up to 4 images, videos, and or GIFs in one single tweet. And their stated goal is becoming the best place to share media. Quote unquote, best place to share media. And this is really fascinating, guys, because I think if you've been following our podcast, we've done episodes on Twitter on here, at least a handful or so. But some of those have actually kind of leaned more towards the audio aspects of Twitter, where Twitter's been doing a lot of experimenting with, putting out podcast episodes and spaces and tying the two together. If you have a space, then that space leads to your podcast, all this kind of stuff that they've been trying and throwing against the wall and, trying to get a little bit more relevant in a very video-intensive environment now with like TikTok and Reels and YouTube Shorts and so on and so forth. And so this is a really interesting situation we have here with Twitter coming out into the arena and saying, hey, we're gonna kind of one-up everybody in a way, or we're gonna do something a little different here, and we're gonna make it easier for you to share multimedia in tweets and even mix up the type of multimedia, which is really kind of fascinating, from my perspective. So basically, just quoting a little bit from Search Engine Journal, not necessarily from Twitter directly. They say here, Twitter announced an update to multimedia sharing that together with another update makes it easier to discover videos and in essence transitions Twitter toward becoming a multimedia sharing platform. Okay, and it also says, starting today, October 6th, any Twitter app users can upload up to 4 videos, images, and or GIFs within a single tweet. This change partners with another important update that adds a video carousel to the Explore feature. Okay, where users can discover more videos to watch there, obviously. So this is really interesting. Interesting way to let creators express themselves. Mixing together different types of content. And so some of the examples that Search Engine Journal put out there, this is really, if you like to play in this space, like if this stuff comes kind of naturally to you to kind of like this stuff, you're probably going to be head over heels about this. Of course, if you're doing marketing while holding your nose, This won't mean as much to you guys. You're not going to be as excited about it, but it's no less something you should pay attention to if you have or are thinking about having a Twitter presence. Okay, so here are some examples Twitter posted. I know you guys can't see them, but I'll kind of describe some of this stuff to you. So basically, one example they posted was a side-by-side tweet that juxtaposes an image and a tweet. Okay. So basically, what they show here in this image that they posted is how you can put an image on one side, okay, to be more specific here, an image on one side and a video on the other side, and to play the video while the image on the other side is retained. So in other words, you don't have to click the video to then enlarge the video and watch the video and then unclick out of that and then go back and look at the image. The image sits there on the one side while you play the video on the other side. And this is a very fascinating way to show both different levels of dynamism, right? I mean, you got a still image on one side, you got a video on the other side, but also show two different perspectives, right? Here's a video of, the example they have here shows a concert. So you have on one side, you have like a keyboard player playing the keyboard, and then on the other side, you've got another area of the concert, let's say the audience, reacting to the music. Excuse me, guys. So that's really very fascinating, okay? Let's see some of the other ones they show here. So again, you're showing the same thing from two different perspectives. You can do, obviously from what Twitter released in their update, you can do a couple of different images next to each other, maybe throw in a GIF if you want to have something that's moving alongside the still images that you have. You can put multiple videos out there. This is just really, really interesting that Twitter kind of leaped this far into the game by doing something like this, right? And so I think what this kind of calls to mind, guys, is, like on TikTok, for example, you have the duet feature where you can, take somebody else's post, you can play their video, then you can react on the other side of it. This kind of adds another dimension to that, right? Because now you can do more things with one side of it versus the other side that you're doing, let's say the reaction video, or you can even go more multi-dimensional than that because you can put 4 different things into the tweet. It's not just, hey, I've got a binary, 0 and 1, one on the left, one on the right kind of thing. You've got more going on than that, right? More options, more things you can kind of play around with. So I think, to be totally honest with you guys, this is so new. I personally have not thought through, every single way that you guys can possibly use this. I don't even have a lot of great examples off the top of my head. But what I really felt was important to do is kind of call attention to this, kind of jump all over it right away, get something out there to you guys, alert you to it, and say, hey, go over and check this out. Now, I would say this. Let me say this right off the top of my head. If you guys aren't on Twitter, I think this brings you over to Twitter. Because I think at a bare minimum, if you are creating the kind of content that we've been talking about on the other platforms, you're creating TikToks, you're creating Reels, you're creating YouTube Shorts, you're, let's say you're heavy into stories, you're doing a lot of imagery work in stories on Facebook, on Instagram, even on TikTok. Now you can take that same work and you can use not only another platform, it's not just like, hey, throw it on another platform and get a little bit more reach out of it. You're going onto another platform that now has this brand new, shining, brightly new feature that, as we know, and as we have seen typically across platforms, when new stuff gets deployed, when new functionality gets deployed, guess what? That's where the platform wants you to go. That's where the platform wants you to post, right? They want you to use that functionality. That becomes their favored delivery mechanism, that they will promote that content more than if you're, let's say, using the normal functionality that's on the platform. Okay, Instagram did this with Reels. TikTok is doing this with TikTok Now. Go check out episode 91 of the podcast. We talked about TikTok Now. Actually, episode 90. Episode 90 on September 23rd talks about TikTok Now. When you get new functionality, you get more reach. Okay, guys, so you can pounce all over this. If you're already creating this kind of content, if you're already into imagery and videos and short form stuff, get that stuff on Twitter. Obviously, if you're already on Twitter, you probably discovered this, you probably were caught up in the update, Maybe you've even discovered it by now and played around with it. But if you are not on Twitter, get on Twitter. Get on there now, play around with this, post some of your stuff out there, see what kind of reaction you get, see what kind of reach you get. You may find, like in the very short term, I don't know that this is going to last for a long time, who knows, but in the very, very short term, it might be one of the best places to post your stuff, okay? You know, if you suspect or you know that any amount of your audience is out there on Twitter, this is a great way to get this content in front of them fairly quickly and frictionlessly because you've already been creating it. Okay, guys, so super, 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 super exciting. Wish we had more for you in terms of depth on this, but really wanted to get an episode out there, really wanted to kind of highlight this and focus on it with you guys. I personally, just very, this is just Chris talking, that was the first social media platform I ever embraced. This goes all the way back to 2009. Okay, I started on Twitter on September 1st, 2009. Okay, and I remember that because my favorite number is 9, so 9109 was when I engaged with Twitter. So that's where I've been the longest personally, even though obviously in recent days I've come to love TikTok and how it delivers content and all that. But I really, really think, guys, if you're not on Twitter, this gets you on Twitter. If you are on Twitter, start experimenting right away. Make this the way you get content out. Just switch your brain, like, okay, I'm not going to type text anymore on there for a while. I am going to make short videos. I'm going to grab still images. I'm going to mix them together. I'm going to try to create context around them. Maybe a picture from this angle and a video from that angle. Put the two together. Get the stuff out there. And do some interesting things like that with it. So I'd be really excited, guys, if you come to us and say, hey, we're using it. We're doing it like this. We're using the feature to mix up different images this way or that way. Be super, super excited to hear what the community is doing with this type of feature on Twitter. All right, guys, so check us out. You can drop us a note on Facebook or LinkedIn at Transform. You can go to a website at transform.com, and, of course, follow us here on the podcast. But definitely, guys, super exciting situation here with Twitter. Check it out. Perfect thing to play around with over the weekend, guys. I mean, if you have a long weekend here in the States with the Monday holiday, take some time and check it out. Play around with it. See what you can accomplish with it here in the very short term when Twitter is really plussing up the reach that you're probably going to get out of this type of thing. Okay, guys? With that, I'll leave episode 93 behind. Head into the weekend. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Next week, we will be coming at you guys with episodes 94 and 95. So super, super excited as we close in on episode 100. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.